Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Friday class, our energy encounter with the Zohar. We are going to be reading from the weekly portion is Ki Tisa, and we're at verse 50. In my book, it's 125. In some books, it's 127. Let's invite in the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rabbi Schlag, Rabbi Brandwein, the Ariya Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tafon, Rav Avram Azulai, Rabbi Nachum Mendel Tepsk, Rav Kolona Shapira, P.S. Setza, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the students. One soul, Yosef Tzadik and Shechem. Again, we invite in that lineage because we are asking for their help in revealing what we are supposed to learn, understand, and share with the world from these verses of Zohar. Let's also have a consciousness of connecting to the energy of healing for everyone we know who needs healing, and also the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love for everyone in the world, ending the conflict and chaos that's in our world. And also keep in mind that we are still in the month of Adar of Pisces. This week was Purim, which is one of the most elevated windows in time that we encounter over the whole year. And one of the things that our teachers teach us is that when the Messiah arrives, pretty much a lot of the windows in time are no longer necessary because we're at such a high level. One of the only holidays that survives is Purim. And so it was a very, very elevated window in time for us. And above and beyond that, Pisces, Purim, this month of Adar itself is a month where the realm of fulfillment is available to us like no other period of time in the year. So it's a great time. It's always a good time to think about where it is in life we need fulfillment, where it is in life we're seeking growth, or we're seeking healing, or we're seeking financial stability, or we're seeking soulmate, or we're seeking enhancement of all our relationships. It's always a good time. But the month of Pisces, the month of Adar, is perhaps the best time. It's also the last month on the astrological calendar. And it's also the last month we have to prepare for the holiday of Passover, which is next month. So there's a lot going on and a lot to think about, but we should have in mind everyone we know who's healing and needs fulfillment and energy protection also. So verse 50. Amar Rabbi Yossi, Lav hava Abba Rachaman al benoi ke kudsha brichu ukarahu dichtiv lo nafal davar echad mikol davaro hatov v'gomer. Tachasei Rachmanu dilei ilu amar la lo nafal davar echad mikol davaro v'la yatir. Noach la'alma dala it berev, aval mit amar mikol dvaro hatov, va'pik bish la'acho ra, ta'amila dvish la ba'e lemebad. Andrea?
Rabbi Yossi said, there is no father more merciful to his children than the Holy One, blessed be he.
Okay, so before we get to the second part, let's provide some context. What happened this week, or what happens in this week's portion of the Torah, of Ki Tisa? Remember, it might seem at a 1% level that this is just another portion, this 50 some odd portions that are read in the 5 books of Moses, one portion each week. And so this just happens to be the one that falls now. No such thing. First of all, there actually is a schedule, and this one probably always ends up the week of Purim, or nearby Purim. So there's that. But again, if we only look at it from 1% perspective, we're putting the cart before the horse, as opposed to the horse before the cart. The horse is pulling the cart. That's really what's going on. And so what's going on for us is the energy infused within this portion is the precise energy that we need this week. In what way do we need it? In every aspect of our life that we're encountering. It's all connected. We're still experiencing different things. but they're all connected to this week's portion and the assistance available to us in this week's portion. So what happened this week? Well, the sin of the golden calf, not a small item. And just to put some perspective on it, we were freed from the bondage of Egypt. We started our march towards Mount Sinai. It was roughly 49 days to get to Mount Sinai. And then the revelation of this immense spiritual energy, which manifested as literature, but it's not literature. The 5 books of Moses look like literature. They're not. It's a delivery system for energy of fulfillment from the upper realm. It's the potato chip, like it's a delivery system for salt. It's a delivery system. That's what it is. Did it happen? Yes. Is it literature? No, it is not literature. Do we encounter it as literature? We do encounter it as literature, but it's not literature. So this is the week of the sin of the golden calf, where basically we finally made it to this monumental event. It was the whole reason why we were sprung out of bondage, was to go to become a nation, meaning these incredible channels for energy from the upper realm, to arrive at Mount Sinai, the revelation event, and to receive all this energy of healing and immortality for the world. We at Mount Sinai took over for the angels. Up until the point in time, it was the angels' job to fix the world, to complete creation. But at the time of the revelation event, it became our role. And what do I mean by our? Were we there? Yes, we were there. If you're here now, likely it is you were there then. Because this is what we're doing. We're channeling this energy for the world. No different than the channeling of energy that took place at Mount Sinai. Well, it's much more, it was all at one time there. Maybe it was much more intense. It was for sure more intense. But we're still working on it. And we had achieved that immortality until we kind of panicked in the 11th hour. Literally, I think there was 11 hours left. We panicked in the 11th hour and we built the golden calf and everything fell apart. And so that's the backdrop for which we find this line. Any questions? Okay, let's continue.
For it is written, there has not failed one word of his good promise. Come and behold his mercy. If it had said, there had not failed one word of all his promise, and no more, this would have included his harsh words also.
Okay, so the Zohar is unpacking this verse from Malachim, which is the book of Kings. The Zohar is unpacking this so that we understand that what is this idea that we start off with, that there is no father more merciful to his children than the Holy One, blessed be he. So this is it's an interesting concept. It forces us to think about what is our relationship with the Creator. Think about that for a second. I have a relationship with family, perhaps parents, neighbors. To the degree you still have a mailman, you have a relationship with your mailman, with service providers, your doctor, your dentist, friends, workers. These are all relationships. What's our relationship with the Creator? Well, I'm going to leave it as an open question because it's a hard one to put your hand on. Like, how do I have a relationship with something that I don't perceive with my 5 senses? Well, we do have a relationship. It's just different. But it's a constant. The Creator, and it's important for us to know, the Creator is a constant companion, even though we do not perceive the Creator to be there. But the Creator is a constant companion. Well, how do I know that the Creator is there with me all the time? Well, if you're relying on your intellect, you're not going to know. This requires us connecting to soul, because your soul knows that the Creator is a constant companion. Notwithstanding, there are different ways of looking at that relationship. So one of the ways of looking at it is like father and son. And so one of the things our teachers talk about, they talk a lot about this in advance of Rosh Hashanah, where we're asking the Creator to give us another year. What's our relationship? So you can look at the relationship like it's father-son, or you can look at it like it's employer-employee, or maybe master-servant, which comes up a lot in the liturgy for the high holidays. Is this a relationship between master and servant, or is this a relationship between father and son? So one of the things our teachers teach us is that, well, how you want to look at it. If you want to look at it as master-servant, then it's like basically you come in, you do your work, you punch the time clock, you punch in, you punch out, you leave work, and like you don't have to worry about the business anymore. If it's father's son, you're in the business. If the business is your father's business, it's 24/7. You're never out of it. And you get perks because of that. You're in the family. You're an insider. So where do you want to be? An outsider or an insider? Well, we want to be in the business because we want the perks. And if you're within the children of Israel, literally children of Israel, literally it's father's son, Jacob, to all of us. And by extension, the Creator. So this is what the first opportunity we have in this section is for us to think about our constant companion, the Creator, acknowledging that it's difficult to perceive with our five senses, with our consciousness, with a low-level consciousness. And they're saying if we want to perceive that, we need to go deep. We need to get to a soul level. And ideally, we want it to be father, son, child. That's the kind of relationship we want, that level of closeness. And it's up to us to work on that. Well, is there a simple, formula for that? Well, that's what the proactive formula is all about. Getting out of body consciousness and connected to soul consciousness. Restricting our nature to rise above it. Being like the Creator. The Creator loves everybody unconditionally. So if we want a close relationship with the Creator, we need to be like the Creator. And this is Kabbalah 1. And how do we be like the Creator? By showing up with the same features that the Creator does. And the most dominant feature is unconditional love for everybody who's walking the planet. Good and bad, so to speak. Selfish and giving. Trying to overcome their nature, those who are, and those who are just completely under the influence of their nature. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's see, where do we stop? And no more. This would have been included his harsh words also.
Yes, so the line that with the Zohar is saying, look, it says in that verse, all of his good promise. But it doesn't talk, in other words, the good things that the Creator talks about, to the exclusion of the bad things. Had it not said that way, it wouldn't have meant it that way. So it's making a reference to not everything the Creator says, but the good things the Creator says. He never let us down with the good things that he said. That's the first point that the Zohar is making. And by the way, this is also awaiting for us this idea of we are better off looking at the cup half full and not as opposed to half empty. We are definitely better off with a positive consciousness. Are there negative things going on? All the time. All the time. But those negative things that are going on, when our consciousness moves to the negative, we are disconnecting from the light. And again, if we want that relationship and the benefits of health and protection and sustenance that come with being connected to the Creator, we want to be aligned with the light of the Creator. And being aligned with the light of the Creator means being like the light. Go ahead.
Then it would be better for the world not to have been created because it would be impossible to bear it.
Yeah, it's like if all the harsh things the Creator said were going to come true, also, this would be a very tough place. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. It's a
Yes.
little confusing. It's a bit confusing. So, what does that mean? The harsh things that the creator said, because aren't we taught that there's never harshness out of the creator?
Okay, well, there isn't, but there are harsh consequences
Oh,
in a
harsh
world
consequences.
created by the creator. But one of the things that happened was when we committed the sin of the golden calf,
Hmm.
the creator, we'll see this as we go on, how it plays out. It's fascinating. And one of the things that happened is the creator says to Moses, look, they dropped the ball in a big way. I can't rely on these people. They can't keep it straight. I mean, for crying out loud, this is the revelation event, and they just built the golden calf. I mean, need I more evidence than that? So the creator says, listen, I'm going to wipe them out, but don't worry, I'm going to start a new nation with you. Well, that was harsh. And that's what this section is getting to. That didn't happen. But there are definitely negative consequences in this realm. Of course, it's negative, but we don't know if it's good or bad because we don't know. It's never a straight line. As I've said, when your blessings arrive, they don't arrive gift wrapped with wrapping that says blessing enclosed. They don't show up that way. They show up with, like a crumpled piece of newspaper wrapped around it. Yes, Jackie.
So if it comes and it's beautifully wrapped, should you be hesitant?
You might want to be.
Or just like look at the glass half full? It's like, oh, this is great.
I mean, this is like the old Kabbalistic story about the guy who, the farmer who had a son, and his son broke his leg, and the neighbor said, "Oh, that's too bad." And the farmer said, "Well, we'll see." And then the army came around to draft, and they couldn't draft the son because he had a broken leg, and the farmer didn't want to lose him because he was helping him with the farm. The story goes on from there, but it's like, how do we broken leg? It must have been a bad thing. Well, it spared him from being drafted, and his father wouldn't have been able to, harvest. We're at verse 50 in Ki Tisa, and it's my page 125.
One more thing. Wouldn't it be the same thing, like to Andrea's point, when he says harsh things? It's like, oh, your son broke his leg. Or it's like, oh, you lost your horse. I mean, isn't that the same type of thinking?
Well, it's like, how are we going to view it? Are we going to view it as bad, or are we going to view it as this was necessary part of my journey?
Right.
Setting me up for a bigger blessing down the way. I think that that's the way we want to view it. When I say that our closeness to the Creator manifests blessings for us, I'm saying that because all the Creator wants is for you to be close to Him. Just like your parents want their kids. You want relationship, if you have kids, you want relationship with your kids want relationship with their parents. There's plenty of things that go on to disturb that, clearly. But on a deep level, we want that connection. We all want that connection with people who love us unconditionally. The Creator loves you unconditionally. Do you love the Creator unconditionally? Like, I'll never forget, one of my kids wanted to, spend their first year of marriage abroad. And I'm like, that's great. I said, look, I really support you in that. I think it's fantastic. But financially, I'm not going to support you. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I think that's a great experience for you. But my goal for you is financial independence. And I see this moving in the opposite direction. Now, that child was not happy with that answer. And I was uncomfortable because I don't like I like to upset my kids, but that's parenting. Spare the rod, spoil the child. It's a terrible analogy these days because corporal punishment is pretty much frowned upon, rightly so. But I'm saying, like, I think the book is called The Blessing of a Skinned Knee. And I don't recall the author, and it's an old book, but it's all about how letting your child fall is the only way they really learn to walk and to run and to maintain their own balance. If you're constantly balancing for them, they never learn to create their own balance. That's the blessing of a skinned knee. You have to allow them to fall. Otherwise, they don't learn to pick themselves up. They don't learn to avoid pitfalls. And here we are talking about the relationship father-son with the creator. It's no different. We're here because we wanted to earn the light. And along the journey, we are stuck with free will. That's why the creator doesn't tell us what to do all the time. We are here trying to earn that light. Clearly, building the golden calf was a big step in the wrong direction. And again, so for us, part of the energy of this week is growing in our appreciation of what we are confronted with and not being reactive. Using the tool of pause, using it as an opportunity to connect to our soul and be proactive in every situation, not reactive, so that we enhance the likelihood we'll be making the right decision, moving in the right direction, and channeling the blessings that we're looking for. Okay, did we finish English there?
No, we are at, but since it said,
okay,
of all his good promise and left his harshness, it implies that he left off the harsh words he spoke of Israel, and they did not come true. From here, we see his mercy because he does not want to do an evil thing.
It's like when you threaten your kid, or you threaten anybody. It's like, I don't want to do that, but I'm trying to impress upon them the importance of this moment. So sometimes all you have to do is say, one of my teachers used to say in dealing with kids, he would never tell them what to do. He would say, I don't want to say who this is because we know his kids and they turned out okay, they turned out actually as amazing teachers, but but he would say, instead of saying what they should, he would say, I wouldn't do that. It's very subtle. I wouldn't do that, but you're free to do what you want. For me, I wouldn't do that. And it's an incredibly insightful way to communicate without a heavy hand. Okay, so we see that there is this mercy. It brings me back to this whole conversation about when the Creator was going to give the Torah to the children of Israel, the angels went to him and said, that's not a good idea. They're gonna fall off the path. And he said, yeah, they're going to, but I also created, before I created the Torah, I created tshuva, this opportunity to always correct for the things that have gone wrong. If we're here, we are imperfect and we're making mistakes, and let's just get over it. The issue isn't to avoid making mistakes. We obviously want to try that. But once we've made a mistake, the issue isn't beating ourselves up. That is actually what the other side is trying to get us to do. Because when we beat ourselves up, the light that we have is going to the other side. The other side is just interested in the light that it can get and deny us of and deny the world of. So every time you beat yourself up for some unpleasant result that we blame ourselves for, we are feeding the other side and denying the world of our light. You're literally denying that every time you show up is anything less than the most perfected version of yourself. You are denying the world of your light. And we came here to share our light with the world. Each one of us is a unique snowflake here to share our light with the world. And the other side's job is to get us off that path. So we show up in situations where we're not showing up as the best version of ourselves. Happens all the time. Every time I get angry, every time I get jealous, every time I get full of anxiety, and every time I show up with fear, No, that's all from the other side. Your soul doesn't feel any of those things. That's us succumbing to the influence of the other side, of our ego, of our body consciousness. That is us closing shop, limiting our sharing of our light with the world. So we're getting a huge wake-up call for that. 51. The apagav de agzin, the arim ritzua atat ima v'itakafat bidroe yamina. The kam ritzua b'kiyume v'la nachit batata, v'la it avid. Begin div ita chadahavo tarvavyu, iu de agzim, the ihu de achidat bimine.
And even though he threatened and raised the lash, his mother came and held his right arm, and the lash remained in its place and did not descend, and judgment was not executed, because they were really of one mind, the one who threatened and the one who held his arm.
Fascinating. Of course, they're of one mind. It's all one. You know, when you're hammering a nail and it misses the nail and it hits your thumb, it's not like you're saying, oh, I wish it had hit my pointer finger. It's all one. You're still feeling the pain. It's all one. That's an easy one for us to conceive of, because it's the pain that we can all relate to. If you ever picked up a hammer and hit your thumb with it. Who is the mother? Okay, we know who the father is. Who is the mother? So this is a really helpful perspective on seeing our relationship with the universe around us. There's our Father, the Creator, but who's our mother? Let's read on. V'i tema minalan, mimala di'ihu bi'itgalya, dichtiv lech red kishichet amcha, sarel arama ritzua, umoshe de lahava, yada archa di'ima, shatik. Keva de chama kuchabrichu kach, an ki delay uvatashbe v'amar, ve'ata hanichali, miyad argish Moshe, ve'achid bidroe di kuchabrichu, dichtiv zachor la'avraham, da de roe yamina, uvigin kach la nachit ritzua.
And you may ask where we derive this. This is well known, as it is written, "Go, get you down, for your people have become corrupt." The Holy One, blessed be He, started to raise the lash, but Moses did not know the way of the mother. Namely,
Okay, let's stop there for a second. So how do we know that he has these threats and raises the lash, and the mother comes and holds his arm? Well, this is the situation that occurs in this week's reading. Moses goes up there. It's this revelation event revealing all this upper realm, Garden of Eden energy, immortality, complete healing. And Moses, imagine Moses now, he's bridging the gap between physicality and the upper realm. He's half man, he's half angel. So he's facilitating this whole thing. And imagine he's up there and all of a sudden, Creator says, hang on a second. Your people have become corrupt. Meaning something went down at the base of the mountain. Imagine Moses' surprise. It must have been like, oh my God, what happened? I mean, put yourself in his shoes for 2 minutes. It's fascinating. So this was the Creator raising the lash because he was going to take us out, basically. Judgment was going to come. Was he really? No, because the way we understand it is it's all reward and punishment. You stick your finger in the outlet, you get electrocuted. God didn't electrocute you. When we fail to fully acknowledge and consciously develop awareness of our relationship with the Creator, of our relationship to our soul, when we act in self-centered ways, denying the world of our light, we bring in negativity. And it's relative to the amount of the amount of selfishness that we demonstrate determines the amount of negativity that comes our way. It's directly proportionate. Schar v'onesh, reward and punishment. So what happens next? Go ahead.
Okay, namely to hold his right and then detain him and remain silent.
Okay, so Moses remains silent at this point. Instead of saying, Creator, hold on for a second. Okay, they made a mistake. Well, let's go. We're going to work on it. He didn't do that. He remained silent. Why did he remain silent? Because he didn't understand. Moses did not know the way of the mother. Anyone want to take a guess at who the mother is?
The Shekinah or Bina?
Very close. Very close.
Bina?
It is the Shekinah, but it's Malchut in this case.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. Let's see.
When the Holy One, blessed be he, saw this, he hinted to him and pressed him and said, now, therefore let me alone.
Okay, so Moses wasn't stepping up, and the Creator's like, so Moses like, look, I got my lash up here. He's winking. I got my lash up here. Moses, and then so he drops a hint for Moses. This is literally what the Zohar is saying. And then what happens?
Immediately Moses realized and grasped the arm of the Holy One, blessed be he, as it is written, remember Abraham, for this is the right arm, which is chesed. Therefore, he did not bring down the lash.
Moses reminded the Creator of mercy, how the world is infused with mercy. That was what Avram was the channel for. Of course, we have mercy here. Where's the mercy? Creator, come on, show a little mercy. And that's exactly what happened.
But it seems a little odd. I mean, how come the Creator needs reminding?
No, the Creator didn't need reminding. Moses did.
Oh.
So Moses pleads with the Creator, let's cut these people a break in this narrative. Again, this is us also. We show up as reactive, and then we pause and we give an opportunity for our merciful side to settle in, our less reactive side to settle in. Was the Creator really reactive here? No, it's not. This is an anthropomorphism. This is so we understand the nature of the relationship in a way that we can understand it. The Creator is never reactive. The Creator is always proactive. The Creator always restricts. That's why we need to restrict. Yes, Suzanne.
So what's coming up to mind for me right now is, that concept of when we react, or the mirror concept. So when we raise our right hand, it looks like our left hand. You know what I mean? Like if it's a blessing from the upper world, it's a curse down here. You know what I'm saying? That's coming up for me, but my head's kind of like spinning a little bit right now. So maybe you can clarify or just...
Yeah, let's make a distinction between the way the blessings show up and the way the Creator is showing up in this narrative. So the way the blessings show up, the reason why blessings show up enshrouded and unclear is because we don't want to attract the attention of the other side, because the other side is going to want that light. If there's a blessing coming, the other side wants the light. By the way, this comes up in our Monday through Thursday class as we're studying Balak. When the Creator, and it's just a fascinating coincidence that we're studying these two things in two totally different Zohars at the same time. When the Creator wanted to give the Torah to the children of Israel, he first went to the other side and said to the other side, hey, I got a really special gift I'd like you to have. And the other side was like, well, what's in there? And the Creator said, well, thou shalt not murder. And the other side was like, whoa, that's poison to us. And the other side said, you know what, why don't you give that to the children of Israel? Thinking that the poison in the hands of the children of Israel would kill them, and then the other side could have all the light in the world. That's literally the story that we studied in Balak. that narrative. And so the most significant gift the Creator gave to mankind was energy of the upper realm, which we channel through the Torah. And in order to get it here, he had to offer it to the other side and make it look like it was poison. And so, so many blessings that have manifested have started in a way that didn't attract the attention of the other side because they were like under radar. David Guillaume does a consciousness every week before connection out in LA, and it's recorded. And if you want to receive them, let me know, and I'll find a way to get you a way to sign up for it. But what he talked about 3 weeks ago was like souls that have a lot to contribute. One of the things that happens with them is that they have constant challenges in their life. They have constant not even challenges, humiliations. The Baal Shem Tov was not seen as an elevated soul to the end of his life. He was ridiculed for a good part of it. He was a hidden sage. He was an incredibly elevated soul, perhaps the most elevated of the past 500 years. And he was hidden. No one knew. And so that's the way things show up in our world, to not attract the attention of the other side. That's why we're always saying bli ayin hara, without any evil eye. Because we don't want to attract negativity. Well, David, what about the Zohar? Here we're studying about all this. Isn't the other side going to want to try and get some? Well, that's why it's in Aramaic. Negative angels don't understand Aramaic. Perhaps no angels do. They don't understand Aramaic. So this was part of the delivery system that the Creator manifested through Rabbi Shimon, first through Moses, where the Torah is all code, and then the unpacking of it is Aramaic, a language not understood by angels. So when things happen in your life, some kind of embarrassment, some kind of humiliation, some kind of result that you did not want, understand that it may be happening that way because there's a very large blessing coming your way, and that's the way it shows up. All right, where did we leave off?
I think we finished. We did not bring down the last.
Okay.
So 53.
53. Let's read 53. You know what? We're going to run out of time. So let's skip to 54. The Amar Rabbi Abba Kol Ilain Chabraya, the La Rechimi Ilain Ilain is Talak Me Alma Adla Matazim Nayu. Kol Chabraya Be Yomod the Rabbi Shimon Rechimu the Nafshe Berucha Haba Beinahu. Begin Kach Be Dara the Rabbi Shimon Be Itgalia Haba the Haba Amar Rabbi Shimon. Kol Chabraya de la Rachamin Elaine the Elaine Garmin de la Liach Ba'orach Meshar Od Abdin Pigimu Ba the Ha'oraita Rechimu the Chava Ukshot Itba Abraham Rachim li Yitzchak Yitzchak Abraham Mitchabkan Da Beda Yaakov Tarvavihu Achidam Be Birchimu Uba Achaba Yahabin Ruchaihu Da Beda Chabraya Kehahu Dugma Itztarich Lemebad. So the context, what I skipped was, this is a conversation, this study is going on, but they go to Rabbi Shimon because they need to understand in a deeper way what all this means. Go ahead.
You want me to read? Okay.
54.
54. For Rabbi Abbas said, all the friends who do not love each other die before their time. All the friends during the days of...
What? Why would that be? All the friends that don't love each other die before their time? So we're out of time. So I want to bottom line it with this. The point that he was making, first of all, it's Malchut, that's the mother, that really holds back the king's hand from smiting us, from hurting us. It's really our opportunities to do tshuva. And in this context, we have our own work to do. And so we don't want to stand the judgment of everyone. We want to love everyone. Everyone's got their own job. Everyone's got their own challenges. And so if you really want to more fully participate in manifesting the blessings of the upper realm, you have to have unconditional love for everyone around us. And that is our connection to immortality in this context. Okay. Love you all. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you too.
Bye.
Shabbat,
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.